Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're comparing the Power Stroke to the 7.3 Godzilla V8 to see which powertrain you should go for in the Ford Super Duty. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Ed Kenley Ford here in Layton, Utah for giving me some time with both of these trucks. Both of these trucks happen to be available for sale for the time being, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out these trucks and the rest of the stuff that they have. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So under the hood of the first truck is a naturally aspirated 7.3 liter gas V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 430 horsepower and then 475 pound-feet of torque. Now under the hood of the other truck is a 6.7 liter turbo diesel V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission known as the Power Stroke, not the transmission but the engine. Anyways, power outputs are 475 horsepower and then 1,050 pound-feet of torque. There is a high output version which puts out 500 horsepower and then 1,200 pound-feet of torque. So this literally has as much horsepower or more horsepower as the V8 has torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, I do want to mention some issues with this particular review between these two trucks because it's not the best comparison on the planet. So first thing, you guys can see that this truck has a larger air dam because it's just a standard Super Duty, whereas this one has an off-road package, so it has a smaller air dam. So that is going to slightly affect things because this one's more aerodynamically efficient, but I don't think that's as big of a deal as the fact that this one's an XLT and this one is an XL. So you have a base model truck with the Power Stroke versus, you know, not quite a loaded up, but more loaded up with the 7.3 gas V8. And then the other issue with this review is we've got 250 versus 350, but I do think it's cool because the thing that you guys will notice with the payload capacities is there's something interesting when you compare them, when you go 250 with a gas engine versus a 350 with the diesel engine. And then the next thing is you guys can see that the diesel truck has the shorter cab, the super cab, whereas the gas truck has the larger cab configuration, and the gas truck has this random workbox in the back. Not sure what that's all about, but it's got it. If you're looking for a truck with a workbox in the back, this truck, well, it has it. It has it in it. So I just thought I'd mention that, and it looks like the bed lengths, yeah, are a little bit different as well. So I just want to mention all of the differences between, oops, I hit the mirror a little bit. Anyways, I just want to mention the differences between the trucks. You guys understand that not the best comparison, but also it's hard to find 7.3 gas V8 trucks and all of that stuff. So it was, yeah, best that we can do with this review. Anyways, when it comes to towing capacity with the gas truck, again, depending on configuration, it's going to vary. But with most trucks, you're going to see a towing capacity anywhere from like the mid to high teens, depending on how the truck is equipped. And then with the two different Power Strokes, the regular Power Stroke and then the high output Power Stroke, with most trucks, you're going to see a towing capacity of at least 20,000 pounds. And, you know, with the high output, some of those trucks, again, this is a single rear wheel truck, not a dually configuration. You're gonna be looking at like mid-20s is what I've seen with the towing capacities with some of the trucks. So you can tow more with the diesel. And then when it comes to payload capacity, so this is the 350 with the diesel. You guys can see that it's 3,734 pounds. And then we have a gross vehicle weight rating of 11,300 pounds. Now, payload on the 250 with the gas engine, 3,566 pounds. Gross vehicle weight rating, 10,500 pounds. So, you know, less with the gross vehicle weight rating. But notice how if you get a gas 250, you'll have about the same amount of payload as the diesel 350. So if this was a 350, we'd have quite a bit more payload compared to a diesel 350, if that makes sense. Now, when it comes to pricing, you guys can see that it is no charge for the 7.3 gas V8. So this is the standard powertrain for the truck. So there you go. And then with the diesel, you guys can see it's just under $10,000 for the standard. The high output Power Stroke is like $12,500. So it's a pretty big upcharge with the truck. I mean, just to give you an idea, this, again, base model truck, $66,645. And if we actually pop back over to the other truck, XLT, right, it's got some nice options on it. You can see it has stuff like the premium package on it. It's got the blackout package, all that, $68,000. So like if you get the gas engine, you can add a lot more options and be a similar price to a diesel. And again, this one even has the bigger cab configuration. So with that being said, let's take the trucks out and see how they drive. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood. Both of the mirrors are still blind spot monitoring throughout the rest of the rear. And tally-ho in the gas Super Duty. Drive the gas first, and then we'll drive the diesel truck second. I will say the one thing that's a benefit of the gas is you can just crank her right over, right? You don't have to wait for the diesel preheat. Now with the modern Power Stroke, it doesn't have the same wait time that you have with, like, the Ram Cummins, for example. That's like the longest I've noticed with the diesel preheats, whereas this, it's a bit quicker in terms of the wait time, which, yeah, cool, modern technology, right? But anyways, super smooth so far with how the powertrain kind of delivers things. I know I'm just in a parking lot, but you can just kind of feel it right off the bat. It has a nice smoothness to it. And man, there's always so much traffic up here, no matter what time of day it is. It's kind of crazy. But smooth. Good torque. Yeah, it's pretty, I'd say it's pretty impressive so far. It's not like insanely fast right off the bat, but feels like it's got enough power to move this truck. And I'm always impressed with the Super Duty's suspension comfort because, yeah, again, it's a big pickup truck, but yeah, it rides pretty dang well. 10-speed's great with this powertrain. It helps keep it right in the power band. Well, I guess we got this slow semi in front of us, so they're not even pulling trailer. If you're not pulling a trailer in a semi, that means you should be able to go like at least Mach 1 because those trucks have so much torque. Just kidding, but also not. Like, I've heard the semi trucks, they go pretty quick when they don't have a trailer behind them. They also look kind of awkward. It's like, where's the trailer? Okay. Wow. It feels like a muscle car engine in a pickup truck. It's very interesting. I've heard of people like supercharging these, and on a side note, if you live in Utah and you have a 7.3 and you've supercharged it, let me know. I'd love to do a review on one. I think that'd be so cool. Probably get like 2 miles per gallon, but I mean, it's got power. It's got good power. And again, even the highway, the Super Duties, it stays, I mean, for an HD truck with solid axles, leaf springs in the back, it rides pretty dang well, I would say. Rides pretty dang well. Brakes are, I will say on the gas truck, and we'll kind of compare the diesel, but the brakes don't seem super spongy, which I think is always a positive, because spongy brakes on HD trucks sometimes can be kind of nerve-wracking a little bit. And I like the little rumble you get from the V8. Just listen to this. It's so nice. It's such a nice sound. Just like, roar. Again, muscle car truck. So, to cap things off here with the 7.3 V8 truck, drives well. It's got good power. Obviously, it can't talk for towing, right? I understand gas engines always fall behind diesels when it comes to towing capacity, but what I can say is on road, I mean, it's got good torque. It drives well. It's smooth. Like, it's a very good experience. So in terms of, like, you know, I guess daily driving a Super Duty, it performs well. So I would say I have no complaints with that. And so with that being said, let's go pop over into the 6.7 diesel and see how that compares. So let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors, throughout the rest of the rear, and let us set off. So I'm using this driving portion for two different videos. I did a comparison Power Stroke versus 7.3 gas V8, and then I'm doing a review on this XL with the off-road package. So basically how I'm gonna content this, whatever you want to say, is at the end of the video. So if you're watching the XL review, then it'll just, you know, we'll kind of have a cutoff point, and then we'll have an extra segment for the comparison at the very end. But anyways, let's set off. First off, steering's heavier in the diesel compared to the gas truck. That is interesting. And I'm in two-wheel drive with both. I was in two-wheel drive with that truck too, so interesting that the steering just feels heavier. But it makes sense because the front end of this truck is quite a bit heavier with that big diesel powertrain. Gotta love that engine. It's got such a crispness to it. I love it. But yeah, smooth, super smooth. These bigger tires I think do help out, and they do make a little bit more road noise than the street tires you're gonna get on other Super Duties. So I just kind of understand, yeah, you're gonna get a little bit more tire noise, but it's not the worst thing on the planet, right? Another thing I would say is seat comforts. These cloth seats are actually pretty dang comfortable, surprisingly. More comfortable than you might otherwise expect. Just got to make sure people don't go over the line here. People in Layton are crazy! Just kidding, but also not. Power Stroke's got some power. Smooth, again with the transmission. Man, that guy was trying to cut me off. This is what I'm talking about, Layton people. Yeah, really smooth. And again, it seems like there's a little bit more noise with this tire setup, but it's not bad. So much torque. I mean, you just barely have to get in the throttle and this thing moves. It's really impressive. This thing you love. That's the thing I love about diesels, is just the torque that they have. Yeah, that's fun. I mean, that's fun. It's just right up. It's really cool. Yeah, I really like the smooth factor with this. It's great. So to cap things off quickly for the XL off-road package video, and then we'll kind of get into the comparison stuff. Yeah, trucks, it drives really well. Again, like I said, there's a little bit more noise from the all-terrain tires, but I wouldn't say it's at a detriment to the truck, if that makes sense. It's not enough to where it's like, oh, that's annoying, right? It's like, it's just kind of like par for the course with this truck. So not bad, but a little bit more noise there. But the tires do kind of, right, because they're so big, they kind of act as a secondary shock absorber, so it does smooth things out a little bit. So overall, yeah, I mean, great driving experience with the XL off-road. So if you're watching that review, I'll see ya. And if you're, well, I was gonna say if you're still here, then we're gonna sum things up for the driving comparison with the powertrains. But man, I just got, that's as unlucky as it gets. So first off, what I will say is the Power Stroke definitely punches harder. I mean, it's got as much horsepower as that gas engine has torque. and you feel the power difference, even though this is a heavier truck. But that is something to note, is the front end does feel heavier. So that is, you know, a slight detriment with this. But I mean, gosh, it's crazy how much power this has. It is just so quick. It's really impressive, to be frank. So overall, you know, powertrain to powertrain, I think that it's just going to depend on what you're going to use the truck for. The Power Stroke, right, is going to be a bit more efficient, but diesels right now, I think it's like $1 more expensive per gallon than gas. So, and I mean, well, I guess if you do premium versus diesel, there's a little bit less of a price difference. But still, I mean, there's a big, diesel's more expensive right now. So I definitely would take that into account, comparing the trucks in terms of, you know, even though this gets better fuel economy, you're going to be paying more with your fuel costs. And then, yeah, I mean, it tows more and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, this is kind of like the standard thing is, if you're going to be towing with the truck, quite often the Power Stroke's going to probably be the route to go, right? Because it just tows better. But if you're going to mostly be hauling stuff in the bed, then, you know, you might want to go for the gas engine, right? More simplistic powertrain, so it's going to be more reliable long term. And so that's going to, you know, decrease the cost of ownership with that in respects to that. And then it's, you know, it's also a much less expensive powertrain up front. So, you know, running costs are going to be less, and then your cost up front is also going to be less. So I think that that kind of just, I don't know, I think that that kind of makes it a bit more appealing. But let me know your thoughts on Power Stroke versus the 7.3 Godzilla V8.